Good morning, we are back for another monotype run in the month of Retro Brown 2024. We are doing a monotype ice run. And this is going to be... I don't really know how to describe how this run's going to go, because so far my rule sets for these have been I cannot choose a Pokemon that actually doesn't start as an ice type. Because there's a couple of Pokemon that actually evolve into being ice types, but there's very few that actually start off as an ice type. I cannot do trade Pokemon. And yeah, I can't. This is going to be difficult. Now, you might be wondering who the first Pokemon's going to be, and that's going to be Lapras. Out of all the choices that we could have as the start Pokemon, Lapras made the most sense because it actually had a move that can work against Brock. And that is something we're definitely going to need, considering there are only two Pokemon types that I have actually identified that will qualify for this challenge. And Lapras is being one of them. Now, in the original fight against the rival, we do actually take the win with just using Water Gun, even though we don't have the type advantage. Lapras is a tanky Pokemon, it's a strong Pokemon, and I've actually never used it in any of my solo runs so far, so this is the very first time I'm actually using a Lapras, apart from actually being a HM Mule. And it is really going to be an interesting run. Now, we need to get to Brock as quick as possible without fighting as many people and gaining as much experience as possible. Because we have Water Gun, we can get through the fight pretty easily. We actually get up a level, going into level 7 just before we get out of Viridian. And this fight against Brock is going to be extremely easy. Pretty much one Water Gun each time will take down both of his Pokemon. It's a very easy fight. But the next fight coming up is Misty. Now, you might be wondering why we're trying to keep our levels so low. Now, the next Pokemon that we can actually pick up is going to come into this fight extremely late on in the game. And to get past Misty, I actually determined in Mount Moon that it's going to be more sensible for me to learn Bide to go against her Pokemon, because since we're a Water-type Pokemon, she will not use Bubble Beam or Water Gun against us. She'll only use Tackle. And considering we've only got Water Gun to work with, there are no TMs that can help us out at this point in the game, Bide is actually going to be our best bet. So we are going to teach Bide, we are going to see how we do against Misty here, and we are at quite a low level because we need to try and keep the level cap for this entire video. So let's see how we do against Misty. Now, the Staryu is not going to be too much of a problem whatsoever. Ideally, we just want to use Bide because that's all they're going to do is use Tackle, and there you can see it does a massive amounts of more damage than Water Gun will ever do. So we're going to use Bide straight away on the Starmie, and we take off about half damage, but we need to take down that Staryu quicker to have more HP to work with, so we do take an L here. That brings us into the second attempt. Now, we use Bide straight away, we do not outspeed any of our Pokemon, and we need to make sure we can take it down as quick as possible and keep over about half of our HP. So we go into... That didn't really work out. We got 29 HP to work with against this Starmie. And what I didn't realise is we can actually learn Sing at level 16, which is perfect. So this is going to become a very drawn out fight, but we now have a great move to work with here. So if we go into this fight at level 16 against the Staryu, we can use our Water Guns and retain our HP going into the Starmie, where we can then use Bide to make sure we can actually deal out some good damage. The annoying thing is, Sing has 55% accuracy. So it sometimes takes a while before it actually hits. In this attempt, we were really lucky. So once the Starmie comes out, we can use Bide, and we can start accumulating and storing that damage before we can unleash the energy and finally take it down with a couple Water Guns at 9 HP at level 16 going into 17. So we're in pretty good nick right now. But we do have a few mandatory trains we need to deal with before we even get to Vermilion, and the level cap will go up again after level 24. So we need to see how we do here. Level 17, this fight is not too much of a problem whatsoever really. The biggest issue is that Pidgeotto and Sand Attack. Now we do take it down after quite a while, but we do have Bubble Beam to work with now thanks to beating Misty. And when we come out against the Abra, we are going to try and just, well, this Abra is a non-fight. It only knows teleports. It's just when and where you take it down. The more annoying Pokemon is going to be this Bulbasaur, because for one, it knows Vine Whip at this stage. So once it's asleep, we can use Bubble Beam, take it down, and get ourselves a good win. But that means we now need to move over to Vermilion City, and we don't have many levels to work with here. We need to take out Surge as quick as possible, because the next Pokemon we can actually pick up, we won't be able to get until after the 5th badge. Until we've got at least Surf to work with, actually. So at level 19, we're on the SSM. We've got 5 levels to work with here. We didn't get too many levels on Nugget Bridge. We managed to only go against the mandatory trainers. And even then, they were a bit of a stretch. We can learn Misty level 20, which is bloody pointless for us. But the rival on the SSN is not much of a problem whatsoever. We've got Body Slam, so we've actually gotten something else to work with apart from Water-type moves. But once we've got Body Slam disabled, we can actually take down the Ivysaur, and we're going into the fight with Surge at level 21. Now, this is going to be a challenge. I'm not sure whether we can do this at level 21. If we get hit by a Thundershock or a Thunderbolt, yeah, we're not going to do all too well. We don't have any badge boost glitching moves to utilise here. Thankfully though, as soon as we do get our second Pokemon, the rest of this run will become incredibly easy. What we need to do against the Raichu is hopefully get it to sleep. We managed to do that because he wastes 2 turns with X-Speed and a Growl, and we actually get a first time win against Lieutenant Surge. This puts the level cap up to level 29, and I think this might be enough to work with to get us through to our second Pokemon. The hiker in Rock Tunnel, not a problem whatsoever this time. Unfortunately, he just doesn't do well against water types, especially a Lapras. And you know what, Lapras is just tanking this game so far. There's been barely any losses apart from the likes of Misty. We won first time against Surge, a type that we're not strong against. This is honestly really good. And then I came to the end of Rock Tunnel where we've got this trainer who has an Oddish with Absorb. We do take a loss here, and we have to try again after recovering our HP and trying again. So yeah. Alright, I didn't mention today. Our Lapras today is Jacob Mosley, one of my subscribers. Thank you for subscribing, mate, and welcome to the channel. I've already put you as a rival or a Pokemon once before, but you know what? I've enjoyed chatting to you sometimes on the comments, so thank you. That brings us through to Cerulean, nope, not Cerulean, Celadon City. And from here, we need to open up the Rocket Game Corner and go and get the Silph Scope as quick as we can. It also means we could skip Erica if we keep our level cap decent at this point. We can go and pick up Ice Beam from the Rocket Game, not for Rocket Game Corner, the Celadon department store. Pick up the PP ups. And pretty much we want to go and get a few different moves. But we need to get through this below the level cap, and if we do really get close to it, we need to go and beat Erica. Another gym that we have a type disadvantage of, to try and increase that level cap to level 43. So yeah, we really are struggling on levels here. We are very close to that level 29 level cap, and we need to do something to get through these fights as quick as possible. So we need Ice Beam as a move because that'll help us out with quite a lot of different Pokemon. We can get the Lift Key and go straight against Giovanni. There's a rare candy here if you ever realised. And yeah, the Rocket Game Corner, you can do it really quick, as I'm showing here. Like, I've shown this right from the start so far. This is the pattern you need to take to get through Rocket Game Corner as quick as possible and the least amount of fights. You've got these 2 mandatory grunts here. You've got the mandatory grunt with the Lift Key. And none of them are really too much of a challenge. I would say the guy with the Sand Slash is probably a bigger challenge if you're not a water type or a grass type. But this guy here on the right, he has an Arbok and an Ekans and a Sandshrew. He's decently tough, but sometimes you can go and get Psychic before you can get to this point in Saffron City when you open that up. So he's not really too much of a problem if you can use Psychic types. This brings us to Giovanni. He's got 2 Rock type Pokemon and then a Kangaskhan. We need to make sure we do not... yeah, we're going to hit level 29 here. There's no way... Yeah, there we go. We've hit level 29. We either need to go and beat Erica now, or we need to try and open up and get Surf. Now, off the top of my head, I actually don't remember which gym leader gives you Surf. I'm pretty sure it's Koga. So unless we want to go and try and beat Koga at level 29, yeah, I don't think it's going to be possible. But we can get Ice Beam, and that'll give us one move to work with when it comes against Erica. So let's try Erica now. We've got Ice Beam to start off with, and if we can get it to sleep, we've actually got a chance to win this fight. But of course, Sting always misses compared to... yeah. It takes a while until we get an attempt where Moslin actually manages to sing him to sleep, and you can see how powerful Ice Beam is. We get put to sleep ourselves against the Vileplume, and again we get taken down because of Petal Dance. That is how powerful sleep is. Let's try this again where the odds work in our favour, because we cannot do much else until we beat Erica now. We get the Victory Belt to sleep on the first turn. 55% accuracy move, Sing is. Really weird why it's only that amount, but either way, this time round they don't go for Sleep Powder and we get a win. The level cap increases, we go up to level 30, and the game is finally feeling a lot better now. Let's move on to Saffron City and we'll pick up the TM for Psychic, because I thought going into this that Lapras could actually learn it. I'm not actually sure if it does, but I thought it'd be worth picking it up in case we need to sell it for extra money. Let's go back to Lavender Tower and get the Poké Flute, because now we need to open up and go and get Surf. Because as soon as we've got Surf, we can go and get our next Pokemon. Now, has anybody in the comments yet figured out which Pokemon that's going to be? Remember, we can't have trade Pokemon, so that gets rid of Jinx. And you actually can't catch Cloyster in the wild in Gen 1. So who does that leave? You'll find out very soon. Let's find out how we do against the Rocket in Lavender Tower, which, level 32, we're going to smash our way through them very, very easily. Lapras is a great Pokemon. I've been putting off using it whenever it's come up on the wheel on my solo run so far, and I don't know why I've been doing that. It probably, with this sort of performance so far, I reckon I could make this an SS tier Pokemon. It could go into the same leagues as the likes of Dewgong, it could go in the same leagues as Gyarados. I reckon Lapras could be an SS tier Pokemon. Anyway, let's take a swift ride down the bike path and we'll head over to Fuchsia City, and we can go and get Surf from the Safari Zone. And if you ever need to get to the Safari Zone pretty quickly, you can either cut your way through or you can just go around the edge there. Sometimes I opt to go around the edge just to save some... I can't decide whether it actually saves some time. I might have to get testing that out. But now we have Surf, we can actually go and try and get our next Pokemon. And no, we can't, because a new badge is required, meaning Koga is the gym leader we need to beat before we can actually use Surf. So again, once again, Mosland is solo running this game at a very low level. We've now got Surf the move, which we can actually use that in battle, which is good. But we can't use it out in the world, which is weird. But Gen 1 mechanics, yay! The muck becomes really annoying here. We are poisoned, we've got 2 Pokemon left to go, and we are not hitting our moves. So this might be a reset here. Unless we get a freeze against the Wheeze. Oh my god, we got a freeze. Can we beat it before the poison takes over? We can. Well done, Moslin. That is a clutch win. I can't believe we got the freezes again. But this is the ice type run. We should have a lot of freezes. That is what we should be seeing. Anyway, now we can surf. We can go to the Seafoam Islands, and that gives us our next Pokemon. Now, if you have not guessed who it is a Dewgong. And here we go, Dewgong is Auroch Tamer. Thank you for subscribing and welcome to the channel. Seal is a water type Pokemon. Dewgong is an ice water type. You can catch a Dewgong in the Seafoam Isles. It's got a very low chance to actually be caught, but you can find this Pokemon here. Now, when I first started this run, I actually started doing this run before the Dewgong solo run. And my god, I never realised how good Dewgong actually is in Gen 1. It is a fantastic Pokemon. As a solo run, it got into the SS tier of my solo run tiering. I'm so happy to have this Pokemon on the team, and we have our full team of ice types here. Sorry to everybody who was wanting to see Jinx on this team, but unfortunately, it's a trade Pokemon and my rule set for these do not allow it. We also can't have Cloyster because we cannot catch a Cloyster out in the wild. We can catch Shelders and then immediately evolve it with a Water Stone, but that does not go against, that goes against my rules. So yeah, I've talked pretty much all the way through Rival 5. Here we get a clutch freeze against the Venusaur, and we're at level 38 going into Giovanni. Now Giovanni's not going to be a problem whatsoever. With our 2 Pokemon, these really 2 good Pokemon, we should really not struggle whatsoever. Surf is a great move to have. We can use Aurora Beam to get their attacks down if we really need to, but that Stab Water type on both Pokemon is just so crucial to how good this run is. Nidoqueen is going to deal a lot of damage to us, but Auric Tamer, he just sweeps it through the entire fight. So now we've beaten Giovanni, we can go and beat Sabrina. This is going to be a decently hard fight because we're not really physical attackers. We're more special attackers with the water types, but we do have the likes of Headbutt on Auric Tamer to get through these Pokemon. We take down the Kadabra with just 2 Headbutts, and that means we're on to the Mr. Mime. We've also taught Strength to our Dewgong, which I didn't do in my solo run. We went pretty much pure special type as that Pokemon. We get paralyzed by the Venomoth. Seriously, why does she have a Venomoth in a Psychic Gym? It's a Bug Poison type. Anyway, Auric Tamer finally goes down to the Alakazam, and that brings us to a Lapras v Alakazam fight. She uses a Hyper Potion because she's a cheat, and annoyingly we do take an L here against the Alakazam. If she hadn't have used the Hyper Potion, we'd have easily won that one. So we need to think how we're going to get through this a bit quicker. Well, a critical strength on the Kadabra definitely helps out. I'll be completely honest with that. That brings us to the Venomoth, which last time paralyzed us like it has this time. That brings us again to Lapras versus Alakazam once our Dewgong goes down. We managed to get a couple of strengths in, but it's inevitable that the Lapras will now come out, and she's using Psywave of all things. Psywave is an awful move. And then she starts cheesing the recovers, so we cheese the Ice Beams. We get a freeze, we get a win, and we move on to Blaine. We're getting very close to the Elite Four now, but we can swim our way down. We do not want to catch a Tentacool here, and we can see how we do against Blaine. This should be an extremely easy fight. So we're going to start off just using Surf. Auric Tamer is not even level 40 in this fight. And then we finally get Fire Spin against the Rapidash, which is annoying because, as we found out in my Cloyster solo run ages ago on this channel, yeah, Fire Spin can decimate your team if you do not outspeed. We beat Blaine quite comfortably though with just Dewgong, and we bring ourselves into the final gym leader fight, which is Giovanni, if you didn't know after how many years now. That brings us to using Muslin to get through this fight. Now, yes, it actually can learn Psychic, and it also can learn Thunderbolt of all things. Yeah, I never realised that Lapras can learn Thunderbolt. Genuinely didn't know that until I did this run. But we take an easy win, and we can move on to the Elite Four. But before the Elite Four, of course, we do have the rival fight to the west of Viridian. This is going to be a difficult fight, with 2 Pokemon against his 6, I think it is. No, yeah, has he got 6? I think he has 6 by this point. Pidgeot's 1, then he'll go into his Rhyhorn. Then after this it should be his Execute or his the Gyarados. Wow, Lapras are just sailing through this fight. The Bolt Beam Psychic combo. Wow, we're really just sweeping through this fight. Okay, we do get taken down by the Alakazam. We can use Blizzards. If we can get a cheeky freeze, that'd be perfect here in this scenario. And for some reason, all he's doing is going for Recover. I'm not too sure why. Really don't understand why all he's doing is going for Recover. But, oh, there's the Side Beam. That was weird. That was like 10 turns of him just randomly using Recover. I don't think I've ever seen that before. We're not even resisted to any of his types. That's strange. We do take a loss. We need to be a bit more strategic here. Ice Beam is perfect for the Pidgeot. Surf is perfect for the Rhyhorn. Gyarados, we've got Thunderbolt. And there's 3 Pokemon down without taking any damage. Growlithe goes down to a Surf. And we're back to the Alakazam. This thing has been a demon against us in these attempts. And it's because we're pretty much going at this as special type trainers. So we take a second loss here. We really either need to level up our team, or we need to get luckier with freezes. I opted to go up to level 45, I didn't want to go up too high of a level. And from here, we're still... The first 4 Pokemon are pretty much the same every single attempt. As soon as you get to that Alakazam and realise that we're not physical attackers, this time we get a critical hit. We don't learn Hydro Pump because I want that variation in my moveset. And wow, Razor Leaf does tons of damage. Can Auric Tamer... Can we outspeed? We get a Blizzard, that's fine. Level 45, we take the win and we can move on to the Elite Four. And these 2 Pokemon are just absolutely fantastic. Offensively, Ice is a great type. Defensively, really crap. But that's why the Water type in this generation with these 2 Pokemon makes a massive difference. Water type is a great defensive type. And the only really thing you need to worry about is Grass and Electric, really. Anyway, let's see how we do against the Elite Four. And of course, we've got our imposter here, who is Lorelei. We are the more superior Ice type, and I will prove that to you with these fights. Thunderbolt will take down the majority of her Pokemon. It nearly takes out the Cloyster in one. It would have been class to have had a Cloyster. And the Slowbro will go down with 2 Thunderbolts as well. The biggest problem I see is actually going to be that Jinx, so I'm going to switch into Auric Tamer, who's a little bit more physical attacking. And we're just getting pounded in the face by Thrash and Double Slap. I always found it weird that it's called Double Slap and yet it can hit more than 2 times. Kind of defeats the point of Double Slap. Yeah. Anyway, considering I've learnt quite a few lessons from Lorelei, I decided to teach Rest to our Dewgong, and it just proves how annoying a Rest Dewgong can be in this generation. We can Thunderbolt the Lapras down when we switch back into our own Lapras, but we do manage to tank it and to get the win first time. Next up is Bruno, and of course we should be very good in this fight. If we lose this one, something is definitely wrong. We surf through the first couple of Pokemon, getting critical hit after 1-hit KOs, and wow, Auric Tamer is just taking names here. Can we one-shot the Machamp? No, we can't, unfortunately. I haven't actually done a Machamp run yet, so that would be interesting to do in the new year. Let's see how we do against Agatha. Now, we do have Psychic on our Lapras, so that means that Muslin should be the best shout for this fight. Psychic deals not as much damage as I thought it would, but we are level 48, we haven't hit level 50 in her team and nearing level 60. But, doesn't matter. We are dealing a lot of damage out. The worst thing is we get put to sleep, and yeah, we really need to get rid of this Haunter. It's really doing some damage on us. We get paralysed by the Arbok, and then she switches back into Haunter. And why is the Haunter of all things giving me so much grief here? Its Nightshade is doing tons of damage. No way that Haunter on its own took out both my Pokemon. That's cheesy, that's annoying. I'm not happy. Let's beat the crap out of this old woman. And yes, Jubbles, I know for a fact that you will quote that in the comments, so hope you enjoy that one. Here we go. So, let's try this again. We've got all the way back through to the Haunter again, and again it is being really freaking annoying. We manage to take it down with a Psychic, and we go through to the Arbok. We take self out in confusion. We get paralysed again. So we're not in the greatest position going into this Gengar. Let's see if we can get a freeze on it. We can't get a freeze, but what we can do is use 3 Blizzards to take it down. And we have frozen this old woman. And we can move on to hopefully the easiest Elite Four member for us here. Now, it's going to be easier if we start off with Lapras, because the very first Pokemon that comes out is going to be Gyarados. And it is quad weak to electric type moves. We do take a big Hyper Beam to the face, but that then puts us into using to the Dragonairs, where a single Ice Beam can take them both down. Aerodactyl does big damage with Bite, but again, it's a one-shot. Ooh. Right, okay. Lapras got taken down, but thankfully Auric Tamer can come in and use 1 Blizzard to take down the Dragonite with a quad effective Blizzard. That brings us to the final fight, and we have not even touched level 50 here. So let's see how we do against this team. 2 Ice-type Pokemon versus 6 Pokemon over level... Well, Forgot Alakazam was only level 59. Pretty much all over level 60, pretty much. We take a lot of damage from the Alakazam as per usual, and Blizzard is just tearing through the rest of the Pokemon. Now, we are going to use Rest here against the Gyarados because we want it to use Hyper Beam, so we actually get that recharge turn. Now, instead it doesn't use it, so I'm going to switch into my Lapras and use Thunderbolt. It does get a couple layers off, which means that we are physically a lot weaker than we were before, and we also get burnt by the Arcanine of all things. Wow. Burning a Water-type Pokemon, that doesn't happen all too often. Anyway, we're through to the Venusaur, and it goes for a Solar Beam, and Moslin falls. It's all down to Auroch Tamer here. It goes for a Mega Drain. But a Blizzard gets us the win, and our 2 Ice-type Pokemon before level 50 have beaten the entire league. What a run this was. I really struggled in the early game trying to get to keep under the level cap, but 2 Pokemon under level 50, it's proven these 2 Ice-type Pokemon can solo the league. This didn't take us all too long to do, and I'm very happy with this run. And unfortunately, this actually means that we're getting close to the end of Gen 1 Monotype runs. There's only one type that we haven't done a run with yet. So we'll pull up the wheel and we'll see what that type is. But if you've been watching this series consistently, you'll know which type it is by now. It's going to be interesting. And we actually have a lot to work with for that video. Anyway, if you got to this point in the video, before we spin this, I'd just like to say a big thank you to everyone who has liked and subscribed so far. As you can see from the wheel, our last type is going to be the ground type. So we'll be doing a Monotype run with just that. I do want to thank everyone who has liked and subscribed to this point in the month of Retro Brown throughout this year, you legends. We will see you tomorrow for a last Monotype run. Take care.